Episode 51, 5 Rune Spread from the Book of Runes by Ralph H. Blum. Episode 51, 5 Rune Spread from the Book of Runes by Ralph H. Blum. You're listening to Uniquilibrium, presented by Hakeem Alibokis Alexander on Spreaker, Social Podcasting, and Wisdom, Social Audio Inc., presented for World Reading Club in association with Uniquilibrium. This edition's focus comes to us from The Book of Runes by Ralph H. Blum. On previous episodes 49 and 50 on Spreaker, the Uniquilibrium podcast, I did some divination from the Demon Tarot by Ariana Osborne, the Black Tarot by Nyasha Williams, and there were some pretty fascinating things that turned up during those readings, as well as when I was putting the cards away for the Black Tarot, one of them fell on the floor, and it was the Ace of Wands. And when I was gathering my runes together for the Book of Runes, the one rune also fell on the floor because I'm clumsy, so that's why I dropped a card and then I dropped the rune. And it landed upright, and it was Taiwaz, which is also means warrior. And I'm going to get into those in episode 52 as a wrap-up to these. I'm probably going to call it something like occultanometry or occultanometrics, and also add some numerology to it because today is Cinco de Mayo. It's also a personal numeral 6 day for me, and there are many other synchronicities. It's a full moon today, as well as that I am in a personal 5 year in the 5th month, so 5/5 is popping up over and over again here with Cinco de Mayo being the 5th of May. So for this, I'm only going to simply do the 5 rune spread. There won't be too much reading here, except as I was going through the book, I did see something really interesting, which is there was I think it was a prayer. We got to relocate it now, and I'll start with that first. And while I'm looking for that, you can, if you wish to either be entertained or to see how these readings might influence, affect, or be influenced by you, you can also think of something that you may want to see if it will have any kind of relevance to you with this reading. I don't know where that one went to, but you know what? It's actually typed into my Spreaker podcast notes on the Uniquilibrium show there. But I did find a simple prayer here because I'm not finding that other one that I had scanned into my Spreaker podcast. So I was just going through everything very quickly, and I'm still looking for it. Oh, it's called an invocation. I think I'll read the invocation and the prayer. So the invocation says, God within me, God without. How shall I ever be in doubt? There is no place where I may go, and not there see God's face, not know. I am God's vision and God's ears. So through the harvest of my years, I am the sower and the sown, God's self unfolding and God's own. So, and then the simple prayer is, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, let me sow pardon. Where there is doubt, let me sow faith. Where there is despair, let me sow hope. Where there is sadness, let me sow joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, To be understood as to understand. To be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Saint Francis of Assisi. And so if you would continue to think about some particular issue that you want to have revealed or manifested to you through the runes, you can continue thinking of that now. And I will only give some instruction that comes from the book because it happens to be one of the ones that I find to be the most useful when consulting the runes or sending energy out for the runes to reveal to you what is within your own self. And that is that the appropriate issues. An appropriate issue is anything that relates to timeliness and right action. You might require advice on whether or not to make a career change, sell a business, make an investment, move to a new home, terminate or initiate a relationship. Notice that the word issue is used rather than question. A question might be, should I end this relationship? To state the matter as an issue, you would say, the issue is my relationship. Instead of asking, should I accept this new job? You might say, the issue is my work. This small distinction is crucial. If you ask a question and the oracle provides the answer, then your role is a passive one. However, if you address an issue and the oracle comments on that issue, this allows you to extract your own answer and determine for yourself what is right action. If you don't have a specific issue in mind and still feel drawn to consult the runes, simply ask, what do I need to know for my life right now? The oracle's reply will always be timely and instructive. So remember, the suggestion here is to present it as an issue. Instead of saying, should I end this relationship, state the matter. You say, the issue is my relationship. Instead of asking, should I accept this new job, you might say, the issue is my work. Or you could simply also ask, what do I need to know for my life right now? And so as you decide whether you're going to present what you're thinking of as an issue, the issue is so-and-so, or ask the question, what do you need to know for your life right now? I already know what mine is, and even that I find in many ways, whatever the runes determine, if you be listening, it will be relevant. And so I know what the issue is, and I will draw the 5 runes now and place them on this mat that I've prepared with Metatron's cube in 1 dimension. And here we go, I'm starting out now with the first one. And as I continue to think about the issue, so should you continue to think about your issue or ask the question, what you need to know for your life right now. And I am pulling these runes. There's number 2. It has a little satchel that I pulled them from as I mixed them around with my hand and fingers, and I'm thinking of my issue. What do I need to know for my life right now? Or if your issue is stated, but I know I have an issue that I'm thinking of. The issue is, there's 3, and we continue, maybe take some deep breaths in as you do this and breathing in and out. The issue is so-and-so, right? The issue is, or what do I need to know for my life right now? The issue is, what do I need to know for my life right now? And there is 4. And finally, the issue is, what is the issue? The issue is, and what do I need to know for my life right now? The issue is, or you can state it as, ask the question, what do I need to know for my life right now? And that's number 5. And so the order that these will be revealed in the 5 rune spread are as follows. Number 1, overview of the situation. Number 2, challenge. Number 3, course of action called for. Number 4, sacrifice. And number 5, new situation evolving. Number 1, overview of the situation. 2, challenge. Number 3, course of action called for. 4, sacrifice. And 5, new situation evolving. Now I'm going to turn over the rune stones. And go into the readings. So the first one in the Norse is Otila. Otila. And Otila in English is separation. This is the overview of the situation, and it says separation. That's interesting as it applies to me, because earlier I had a number come up when a truck cut me off, and the number that came up from there spoke to me very deeply. And it said, actually it was 179, and it said emotional intelligence. And it says, pay attention to your intuition. The feelings that are not sitting right with you need to be acknowledged. They are your direct lines to the divine. Trust that you have the emotional intelligence within you to pay these cues the attention they deserve and shift course appropriately. Where can you listen to your emotions today? So here we go with the first one. It's on page 98, and I'm also going to be looking at those numbers later, and we'll see. So in the first position, we have Otila, and that is separation, retreat, inheritance, and it's in the upright position. This is a time of separating paths. Old skins must be shed, outmoded relationships discarded. When you receive this rune, a peeling away is called for. Part of the cycle of initiation, Othila is a rune of radical severance. The appropriate action here is submission and, quite possibly, retreat. Knowing how and when to retreat and possessing the firmness of will to carry it out. Real property is associated with Othila, for it is the rune of acquisition and benefits. However, the benefits you receive, the inheritance, may be derived from something you must give up. This can be particularly demanding when what you are called upon to abandon is some aspect of your behavior, a part of your cultural inheritance. For then you must look closely at what, until now, you have proudly claimed as your birthright. Whether it is your attachment to your position in society, to the work you do, or even to your beliefs about your own nature, the separation called for will free you to become more truly who you are. That is the overview of the situation. And it is to possibly look at the things that you might have to separate from to become more truly who you are. In the second position, which is the challenge, some challenge that you're facing related to that separation. And that rune is Laguz, which in English is flow. Flow. And this is the challenge, flow, on page 127 in the Book of Runes by Ralph H. Blum. Flow. And again, it is the challenge. It's in the upright position. Flow. Water. That which conducts. Unseen powers are active here, powers that nourish, shape, and connect. The attributes of this rune are water, fluidity, the ebb and flow of emotions, careers, and relationships. Laguz encourages you to immerse yourself in the experience of living without having to evaluate or understand. It speaks to the satisfaction of emotional needs, to the awakening of the intuitive or lunar side of your nature. For while the sun strives for differentiation, the moon draws us toward union and merging. Revaluing. This rune often signals a time for cleansing, for revaluing, reorganizing, realigning. A rune of deep knowing, it may call you to study spiritual matters in readiness for self-transformation. Success now lies in contacting your intuitive wisdom and attuning to your own rhythms. A rune of the self, relating rightly to the self, Laguz signifies what alchemists call the conjunctio, or sacred marriage. In fairy tales, it is the end where the hero and heroine live happily ever after. So the challenge may be cleansing, revaluing, reorganizing, and realigning in accordance with the separation that you may have to take in order to become more truly yourself, according to the first rune pulled in the overview of the situation. The third rune we have here in the position of course of action called for. Course of action called for is Thurisaz. Thurisaz, like the word Thursday, is related to Thor. Thurisaz, which is also known as gateway in English, and it's located on page 133 in the Book of Runes. And it's interesting now, if you hear this, it's course of action called for. And listen to the three descriptions of Thurisaz. Gateway, place of non-action, the god Thor. Thurisaz. With a gateway for its symbol, this rune indicates that there is work to be done, both inside and outside yourself. Thurisaz represents the frontier between heaven and the mundane. Arriving here is a recognition of your readiness to contact the numinous, the divine, to illuminate your experience so that its meaning shines through its form. Thurisaz is a rune of non-action. Thus, the gateway is not to be approached and passed through without contemplation. Here, you are being confronted with a clear reflection of what is hidden in yourself, what must be exposed and examined before right action can be undertaken. This rune strengthens your ability to wait. Now is not a time to make decisions. Deep transformational forces are at work in this next to last of the cycle runes. Visualize yourself standing before a gateway on a hilltop. Your entire life lies out behind you and below. Before you step through the gateway, pause and review the past, the learning and the joys, the victories and the sorrows, everything it took to bring you here. Observe it all, bless it all, release it all. For it is in letting go of the past that you reclaim your power. Step through the gateway now. That is the course of action called for, which is to pause, to wait. Remember, in the overview of the situation, it is to perhaps separate from something within yourself that was holding you back so that you can become truly who you are. In the fourth position, which is sacrifice. Sacrifice, maybe something again to give up here. And it is represented by Wunjo. Wunjo, which is the Norse, and in the English, Wunjo is joy. Joy. And it's on page 115 in the Book of Runes. And so, sacrifice. Maybe you have to sacrifice some things that are not bringing you joy, but let's see what Wonjo has here to say to us. Joy, light. And remember, it's Wonjo reversed. So here's the reversed reading. And this is appropriate for a sacrifice because it's reversed. So I think that is quite telling, because maybe it's not telling us to give up joy, right? Or sacrifice joy. Here we go. Wonjo reversed. Joy. Reversed. Things are slow in coming to fruition. The process of birth is long and arduous, and fears arise for the safety of the child within. A crisis, a difficult passage, even if brief, is at hand. Consideration and deliberation are called for. Ask yourself whether you possess the virtues of seriousness, sincerity, and emptiness. To possess them is to have tranquility, which is the ground for patience, clarity, and perseverance. Seen in its true light, everything is a test. And so, focused in the present, sincere toward others, and trusting in yourself, know that you cannot fail. In times of crisis, Wonjo reversed is a useful meditation. And so again, we're looking at patience and perseverance here in the sacrifice position, related to the overview of the situation, which is separation. And finally, in the final position, which is the new situation evolving, we have Ingus. The Norse, which in English is fertility. New situation evolving. Fertility, which is on page 107 in the Book of Runes. Fertility. And here is Ingu's. Fertility, new beginnings, Ing, the hero god. This rune is akin to the moon, the intuitive part of our nature, with its urge toward harmonizing and adjusting in the sphere of personal relationships. Ingus embodies the need to share, the yearning to be desired, a search after similarities. The completion of beginnings is what Ingus requires. The completion of beginnings is what Ingus requires. Drawing this rune may mark a time of joyful deliverance, of new life, a new path, a rune of great power. Receiving it means that you now have the strength to achieve completion, resolution, from which comes a new beginning. Above all, completion is crucial here. It may be timely that you complete some project now. If so, make that your first priority. Perhaps a difficult state of mind can be clarified or resolved. The appearance of this rune indicates that you must fertilize the ground for your own deliverance. All things change, and we cannot live permanently amid obstructions. Ingus signals that your emergence from a closed chrysalis state and seeing the humor. You are indeed prepared to open to the will of heaven and await your deliverance with calm certainty. And that is the new situation evolving. Interestingly enough, as it always is with these divination tools, these oracles, these readings, there are patterns here that are quite fascinating to look at. And all of these things talk about relationships of different kinds and separation and taking your time and having patience to become who you truly are. And so that completes the reading of the 5 rune spread from the Book of Runes by Ralph H. Blum. You've been listening to episode 51 on Spreaker, the 5 rune spread from the Book of Runes by Ralph H. Blum, presented by Hakeem Ali Bokus Alexander on Spreaker, Social Podcasting, and Wisdom, Social Audio Inc., presented for World Reading Club in association with Uniquilibrium. This edition's focus comes to us from the Book of Runes by Ralph H. Blum. Coming up next on episode 52, I'll be doing an occultinometrics using numerology and looking at the rune that fell on the floor earlier as I was preparing the runes, and the card from the Black Tarot that also fell on the floor on the same spot from Nyasha Williams. And there might be something else that I'll add to there, including some angel numbers as well, and maybe a glimpse into what's going on here with the full moon.